Wednesday, so even later than the expected date. And then because of that reason, right, your production is waiting for those materials to put on the machine line. So because of that later delivery, the production have to be delayed to wait for the materials. In such case, the process is broken. Some other case, like for example, like if the local market, there's some problem with that. For example, like the subcontracted manufacturer, and they are like unluckily they got fire in the factory or in their warehousings. Okay, so like in the warehouse, like there like the item that should be prepared to deliver to back to your country. However, like they got fire in that warehouse, all of the product were burned, and there's no product to deliver as expected date. Therefore, like the process for moving those products onto the store to sell to the client would be postponed, would be delayed, and you have to look for like some other source of products to fulfill the lack. So it is also like interrupting for the process. In some other case, like it will create the future competition as well. Do you want like, okay, so for the second point, okay, I would like you to think about this a bit and tell me like how outsourcing, in your opinion, how come like outsourcing can create a future competition? For the second point, we just explained the first one, the process is broken. So moving to the second point, like outsourcing also imply a potential risk that it will create future competition for the company. So I would like you to think about this a bit and explain like how come it can create future competition for the company. For the second point, I repeat, right? For the second point, we are trying to explain the second one, create future competition. Think about this, and then I will like call one student, like someone who hasn't played any, hasn't given any idea in my class. I'm just curious how you think. Some of your friends already like gave their ideas. Okay, I see an answer appeal. He said that like the third party may leak out formula. What formula? Like here, yeah. I'm like looking forward to hearing more from you. So, what do you mean like formula here? Can you explain a little bit more for this point? Very interesting. Nice. Cooking formula. Okay. So for example, like in the case of which company outsource what that can leak like cooking formula? Okay, maybe some in the case of like instant, right? Ready made Coca-Cola. Okay, nice. Yeah. So if they outsource the production, right? Production line, the production part, they will be leaked out like the formula, how to make like the taste as the products. And it is also explain why like Coca-Cola doesn't outsource the production part with the production activities. Most of the, for example, Coca-Cola produced in Vietnam is not like outsourcing, but it's produced by Coca-Cola Vietnam, which is a subsidiary of Global Coca-Cola. Yeah, so that is like the organization structure that apply all over the world. Like they have the local Coca-Cola company as a subsidiary of the like global one, and that local is in charge of producing for the local market instead of outsourcing it to like some subcontractor. However, from the example of Minh Hiếu, right, we can like generalize for the second point. It means like when we outsource some of the activity, especially the manufacturing, right, the not just saying like leaking out, but like the contract, the partner themselves, they can learn from that, and gradually after they learn, they know how. Okay, they understand how to produce, how to make the products, and then after that, instead of just like producing it and sell to the company under the other brand name, they will like create the products and sell by themselves under their own brand name. For example, it is the case of Asus, you know, the laptop brand name Asus, right? ASUS. Okay, so Asus, they used to be a subcontractor for Dell, DELL company back to the time of like 2006, 2007. Okay, so back to that time, they were no more than just a bare manufacturer. There's no brand name Asus at that time. Okay, they just like like be the subcontracted manufacturing, assembling the laptop for Dell. So that like they gave the products to Dell, and the products are were sold under the Dell brand name. However, gradually after like a long time of being a contracted partner with Dell, they know how to make like the best laptop at the like competitive price in the market, and together with like, their own capability of manufacturing, they stop doing like as a subcontractor for Dell, and they develop their own brand name, and they sell like product under their brand like Asus independently. So that is like create future competition. Okay. After the time like passing by, they can learn from our like formula, as you said. And yes, it's on go with like the point number 6, when we have leakage of sensitive data and information as well. Okay, so let's go with it. In addition to like the information about what kind of data and information can be leaked. So in addition to data information about the product design, the way to produce that products, it's also like some other sensitive information. For example, like the name of your client. It happened for example, logistic company. For example, you are in the case of like exporting, right? You are an exporter. You buy, for example, like rice from Vietnamese farmer, and then you export to Japanese companies in Japan, right? So what is your strength? You know, like the Japanese market, right? You know which company like Vietnamese rice, where they located, what is the price that they are willing to pay, right? So on the process of exporting, maybe you outsource some of the logistic activities to some like logistic company. For example, you outsource like international transportation, trucking, consignment at the port, consignment at the like in Japan. Okay, so on that in the process of doing those activities, it is like necessary for you to share some information with the logistic partner. Like you need to share with them some kinds of information about like the destination, right? And they know about the volume of each delivery. They get to know it, and from the destination, gradually they also, that logistic company, they also gradually have the idea. Okay, so wow, okay, I know like this company A, company B, company C, and normally like buying rice from Vietnam, and they want to buy the rice at this price, okay, and they are prefer purchasing this type price. That is like sensitive data. All that's sensitive data. So gradually, those logistic companies, they maybe like not just doing logistic activity for the exporting only, but like they will seeking for the source of rice, and maybe they would buy the rice from the farmer, and then they do the exporting by themselves. So that is also a leaking like sensitive data and information. Yes, and it will go with some like kind of loss of internal capability, grow into like third party power and unable to control like the product development and schedules and qualities. Okay, and because like you some of the activity you outsource, and it will like reduce the direct contact with the supplier or with the customer. For example, the case of like transportation, delivery, right? You don't deliver it by themselves, but you outsource to another company. So instead of your own driver will interact with the employees of your customer at the point of like consigning the products, receiving the products, now will be the driver of the logistic company. So that is like you reduce the customer supplier contact. For the contact with the customer, is also risky, since like sometimes you cannot control the service level. You cannot control the service level your partner, right? So for example, like the driver of the logistic company, they go to like deliver the products to your customer, and however the attitude was bad, like they didn't smile with the customer, they say bad words, okay, or even like they yelled at the customer. So in such case, from the customer side, they will lose like the satisfaction toward your company. No matter like who is directly do the delivery service, it still cause some kind of dissatisfaction to them, and it is also risky to your company. Like it indirectly has impact on the customer service of your own company. Yeah, and for the supplier contact, it will go with the cost, the price, right? You don't purchase directly from the supplier, but by a partner. So maybe like you don't know like the real price, and then maybe you have to buy at a higher price than the actual one. So it is also like a risk for the company. And that is the reason why we list like lots of supply chain visibility into this slide as well. Sorry. Okay, so in order to like give further examples to the company, okay, on the screen you can see there are some like specific examples can be listed. Okay, here is the risk by theory, okay, general risk, and this one is like some examples of the risk. For example, like the first one is like half of the outsourcing agreement fails because of inappropriate planning analysis. What I mean when saying here, I mean like when you haven't, the company hasn't accomplished or hasn't done enough like planning and analysis of the supplier or of the partner that they are intended to move their activity there. Maybe like they are not as trusted, as reliable as you believe. So it is also like a risk. The second one is erratic power grid, or some like difficulty raised by the local government. As I mentioned, like in the previous slide, I mentioned about like the warehouse of the subcontractor maybe like burned in the fire. Sorry. So like for example, like the power grid, I mean like the electricity of that local countries is not stable. So what does it mean? It means that it will affect the stability or the capacity of manufacturing of that like factory. Okay, so I mean that for example, this week they should be like finish 100,000 items to deliver to your company. However, due to like on Sunday or maybe half of the week, like the power was off, okay, the company, the country cut